A Sailor's Purpose. Written by Fairycrest. Read by Rashi. The sea has always been vast and deep, so deep that not much is known of it. Nevertheless, its beauty is something most people seek. Alhaitham is one of those people. Becoming a sailor is something the man did not expect himself to be. He was more of an indoor person, that was for sure. But life does always bring the unexpected. He didn't expect to be captaining a ship for trade, nor did he expect to love the vast blue that greeted him for the past 15 years. 15 years of sailing. Surely the man has experienced everything by now. But this one's a first. For his crew, at least. The day started calm. Smooth waves, smooth breeze, smooth sailing. Isn't that the most suspicious thing you'll find in the sea? Alhaitham immediately set his crew to prepare for the worst. Thank Archons for that. Nearly half the preparations were done when giggling was heard, as if some sweet nectar carried by the wind to entice those around it to the giggling. "Aw, shit!" Erdo, one of the oldest crew in Alhaitham's ship, cursed under his breath as he glanced at the vast blue around him. "What's happening?" Alhaitham asked, calm never leaving his tone, as he glanced in the same direction as his crew. "Sirens!" Just as he said that, a human from the depths of the ocean, near their waters, popped up. "A whole herd of them, too." The sirens appeared one by one, and had a stare down with the people inside the ship. Mischievous gazes, meeting anxious ones. Slowly, a mop of blonde slowly ascended, and his carmine hues gazed at the ship from afar. The male siren, adorned in pearls, looked so ethereal that you'd see how exquisitely different he is from his clan. "Oh, that's a new one. Must have been a member of their royal lineage," Erdo stated, as his gaze trailed the blonde siren. The siren's gazes didn't leave the ship, as if hungry, as if waiting. But the blonde siren's gaze stiffened as his eyes fell on the ship's flag. The next thing left the human side of the ocean confused, especially when the blonde siren turned to another male siren beside him, with green streaks in his hair. He pointed at the ship and looked quite concerned as he opened his mouth and talked. The short-haired siren turned to look at the blonde, and the two talked a lot, before the other sirens started to look back at the blonde and comforted him. That's right, the blonde looked so nervous and stressed that the other sirens approached him, only to give him pats and hugs.
"So, are they gonna eat us or what?"
one of the crew asked. "Should we attack first?" Sino, the first mate of the ship, shook his head firmly. "No one's attacking." He then glanced at their captain, asking for some sort of signal. With a curt nod from his captain, Sino immediately raised his hand and waved frantically. "Nari, get him out of here if I were you! The captain is slowly losing his mind!" Upon hearing that, everyone turned their heads to Sino in utter confusion. No one voiced their concern, but the look on their faces telling enough. Taking that as a signal, 3 sirens swam close, and one of them was the male siren with green streaks in his hair. He stopped at the edge of the ship, which caused their white-haired first mate to glance down at the 3. "Will you tell Alhaitham to stop that now? Even the queen is starting to slowly show concern for our prince's safety. You heard him. Oh, shit! Oh, he's gone." The instant Sino turned his back, Alhaitham was already gone, and was now seen rowing their rescue boat towards the pack of sirens, who were now going defensive at the sudden advance. "Man, he never learns," sighed the siren, who was known to be Nari, from the way Sino called him. "Oh, be a dear and grab him back. My charge is terrified to go out because you guys are everywhere." "I'm sorry, I can't. He's already too far away." Sino and Nari, as well as the other two sirens, could only sigh in defeat. Well, I bet he's getting rejected. Again. The other two sirens chuckled.
I think His Highness should just give the sailor a chance,
says the other siren, as she looks at the determined man rowing his boat at their stiff prince. Sir Alhaitham's advances are far too forward for our timid little prince, after all.
Wanna bet on it, Sir Sino?
The two sirens laughed together with Sino as they watched the silver-haired human offer something to their red-tailed prince. Why did you even bring him here? The first mate sighed. And I thought it was your kind that does the eating. Erdo observed the situation before letting out a hearty laugh. The bizarre situation was not any more surprising, but just comical. And so he cheered, "Go get him, Captain!" Meanwhile, on Alhaitham's end, he was already diving into the waters and swam beside the blonde, who flushed at his presence. "Kaveh, I told you no!" Just like a siren, the man's voice sounds so serene, something Alhaitham can listen to all his life. "I can't marry you!" "Why not? You already live at my house." "I can't marry you!" "Then we can put it off till you want to marry me." "I was supposed to eat you!" "No, I'll be the one doing that." The sailor gently wraps an arm around the prince's waist. "Kaveh, marry me, please." The prince paused upon seeing the serious look on the sailor's face, and the response faltered for a second. I can't," Kaveh trailed off. "Just give me back my pearl, please." A smirk made its way to Alhaitham's face. "I can't," he said flatly, his head resting on the blonde's shoulder, who stiffened in response. "I swallowed it." Silence followed afterwards, that was quickly replaced by a loud screech from the blonde. You what?" "I swallowed it. The pearl that allows you to breathe underwater. The pearl that you need to give to your future human bride. Yes, I swallowed it." The frustration was all over the prince's face, as the other sirens were left with their jaws gaping in shock. "Why would you do that?" "So that I'll be your bride. Obviously." The head that leaned on Kaveh's shoulder moved, and the next thing he knew, Kaveh was mewing from the sudden pain he felt from his nape. Alhaitham's bite was more painful than his. "It was your fault you saved me from drowning rather than eating me. My life is all yours now." "Wow, that was a dick move," Sino, who moved the ship closer to the sirens, stated, after hearing mostly all of what their captain said. "What a tenacious bastard." Tainari sighed as he pulled out a golden contract from his weed bag. "Who would have thought that the kid Kaveh saved would end up being his game-changer?" "What exactly happened to those two anyway?" "You know, the usual. Some storm-wrecked ship, and the prince was nearby, so he took pity on the kid and saved him. Gave him a pearl to keep him alive. Then took him to safety. Kid wakes up, remembers everything, and starts to pursue our timid prince every day. 15 years of sailing, because he's chasing a man. Tenacious indeed." "And I thought the ocean was a scary place." Erdo sighed. "That captain seems to be scarier. I feel a lot sorry for the prince now." The man's gaze fell to the panicking blonde, who was continuously provided an affectionate and gentle touch to the sailor embracing him, and their captain, the very man embracing the siren, who seemed to be so happy just being there in the siren's presence, as well as the herd of sirens who, at this point, were probably there to provide moral support for the two. "And I thought I saw everything."